Welcome to Reshair on ESPN 730. For the next hour, your host, Chris Reshair, will bring fresh air to your financial needs. Excite, educate, and empower you to make sound financial decisions. Chris is a seasoned licensed mortgage consultant with Movement Mortgage, equal housing lender, originator license number 117266. Now, here's your host, Chris Reshair.
Welcome to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshair, licensed loan officer with Movement Mortgage, and I am really excited to be back at it for 2017, bringing our listeners, great topics related to finance in many, many arenas. And if you've never listened to Reshair Radio, first of all, thank you for listening. We're on every Sunday morning, 10 o'clock. And while I'm a licensed loan officer, and that's what I do day to day, helping people with their mortgage loans, really what I like to do is make Reshair Radio much bigger than just mortgage loan financing. And we bring on local area experts in the Charlotte local marketplace to bring in topics that are valuable to you, that affect decisions that you make in your home, whether you own a home or you want to own a home. We bring on realtors, financial advisors, insurance specialists, people that help you fix your credit, home stagers, you name it. And I have a special guest on the show today I'm really excited about. In terms of bringing a topic as we kind of kick off the new year, that's going to make a lot of sense for those of you that either have set some goals or need to fine-tune those goals, or maybe you haven't even gotten around to it because once you get through those holidays, it seems like you're back at work right away. So anyway, what I'd like to officially do is kick off our welcome and say thank you for being on our show today, Scott Babbidge, with help me out here, certified John Maxwell trainer and owner of Next Level Training and Development. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right,
Chris.
Scott, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So Scott, you haven't been on the show before, but I know that you've kind of tuned in now and again. And, you and I have known each other for a few years now and in a couple different capacities from different professions that you've worked in. But you bring to our show today, I think, some really exciting stuff that really goes around sort of setting your trajectory for the new year, getting your life on the right path. And that's really what we're going to be talking about. And that's going to hit a lot of different components there. But really, before we get into our theme and topic that I think our listeners are going to gain some value from, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, who you are? I know you've got 18 years of experience as a certified behavior analyst, or did I say that right? Analyst? Yes, I did.
Yes, correct.
So why don't you get us going? Tell us a little bit about you and help our listeners understand how valuable you are.
Well,
glad to have you here.
Thank you. It's certainly an honor and a privilege to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
Sure.
As you said, I've been a certified behavioral analyst for 18 years, and really what that means is everything that I do is all built around your personality and the strengths that are inherent to you. And from that, we do lots of different stuff from a developmental perspective within your personal, professional growth. I'm also a certified John Maxwell coach, speaker, and trainer, and went through a long process to get that certification as well. I'm a former sales manager of the year for a $3 billion IT company when I lived in Arizona. I was also...
So you took the SH out of IT?
I did, and used my training as a behavioral analyst to really transform. What I really did was I took a team of 33 salespeople that did $44 million in sales, and in 1 year, I transformed that team into 24 people. So I cut headcount by 25%, but we increased our sales from 44 million to 58 million.
Cool.
And they thought that was pretty cool and gave me a big award and all that kind of stuff. And that just, I started life as a teacher. That's what I did for my first 5 years, and just leveraging teaching and leadership and management and all of that kind of stuff has brought me full circle to where I am today, which is in Charlotte. Live here with my wife and daughter. Daughter's 23, named Sierra. Been married for 20.
Awesome.
She is. She's really cool. She's like mini me. And my wife Linda, who is my better 85%. We've been married for 27 years, and we live in Indian Land with Daisy the Wonder Pup and a cat named Shale.
The Wonder Pup.
Yeah, Daisy the Wonder Pup.
Well, I like that you bring up you have a teaching background. I started in the school district myself, and I think there's an element to, once you've sort of served in that profession, it's hard not to have some passion to educate and help people be directed and learn and grow and develop. And I can see that in your passion with your career, and it's one of the reasons why you're successful.
Yeah, and it's really my purpose in my life is to pour into people and help them not just achieve what they have as goals, but to really overachieve and to take their thinking and spin it around what their goals are today and get them thinking bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Very good. So how did you get started in the coaching and behavior as a behavior analyst?
Yeah,
how do you kind of get that started? I mean, you said you were a teacher, but somehow you got to get into this profession.
So moved to Arizona in the winter of 97. And in 98, I got promoted, my first management promotion. And part of the requirement was that process within the company was we had to go and get certified in behavioral analysis, because everything that we did in the company was built around the concept of personality. So every job position has a set of traits that are required to do the job well.
Sure.
And every human has a set of traits that are naturally inherent, that are strengths. And if we could match what the job required and what the human has as strengths, then we got good fits. And those people ramped up faster and they produced higher and they stayed longer.
Putting people and their personalities in the right place.
Right. So Jim Collins, the book Good to Great, get the right people in and then put them in the right seat on the bus.
That's
exactly.
right.
Not right. Get the right people in and put them in the right seats.
We joke in my family that I rode the short bus to school, but anyway, I always tease my kids. So yeah, your dad rode the short bus, but anyway, different bus. I think different book. Yeah.
So, that's kind of behavioral analysis in a nutshell. And I totally bought into it from the first day that I was exposed. And I've used it in every aspect of my life for the last, since 1998, almost 20 years now.
Wow. Yeah. You don't want to let people know your age, do you? But anyway, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Reshair Radio. And I've got Scott Babbidge here from Next Level Training and Development. And we're really just talking about your background and kind of sort of teeing up our goal for our theme today really is just about putting your life on the right trajectory. And we're really going to talk about how that feeds into setting goals and sort of what your plans are for 2017. We're really kind of getting Reshair Radio started off with the right people here in the studio. So anything else that you want to add about?
If I could just share just a quick story. I was, one of the things that I think makes me a little bit different in how I approach this is, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about 3 weeks ago and asked, hey, what's your goal for next year? How much do you want to grow your business? And this kind of ties into goal setting. He said, well, I'd like to grow 10%. And I said, well, why don't you grow your business 400% next year?
Well, wait a second. What do you mean by that?
Right. Well, his response was, I'm afraid of how much work that will take.
Okay.
And I said, well, when was the last time you grew your business 400%? Other than when you first started.
Sure.
And he said, well, I never have. And well, if you don't know, if you've never done it before, how do you know how much work it's going to take?
Right.
Right. And so sometimes we get caught in a mindset that has us thinking a certain way because that's just kind of what we've always thought. And one of the things I like to do with people is let's open up the envelope and let's make the box bigger. And let's go think about and think into stuff that we haven't done because we're capable of it.
Right.
And the kind of light bulb went off and he's like, geez, I just never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So that's sort of, that kind of drives me from, with what I do from coaching and just trying to help people.
Well, it's exciting, right?
No, it totally is.
Yeah. I mean, I can see you're jazzed about how you help people. And we'll talk a little bit later kind of about, who you're a good fit for, because while you're here helping us with our theme today, and appreciate you again being a guest on our show, we'll talk about how any of our listeners that may be interested in your services as a professional coach and so forth, that can take advantage of what you do, whether they're individuals or small companies that need a little bit of team help, or even some larger companies that may need some training and development from what you offer at Next Level Training and Development. So, all right. So before we head to our first break, we've got just a few minutes here. Why don't you share with our listeners, what you like most about coaching and consulting with people?
Yeah, I absolutely have found my purpose and my passion in life. And it is pouring into people, pouring into organizations, helping them to look at their world from a different perspective and opening up possibilities that may, in the day-to-day regular grind of life, we don't think of.
Sure.
Right? We get caught up, and we're all guilty of it. We get caught up in this is what we do and this is how we do it. But sometimes if we have an objective third-party voice that is helping us to think into things in different ways, that sometimes we see inside of ourselves and for ourselves that there are many things that are there, and the plan for us is much greater than even we can imagine for ourselves.
It's like that, you remember that picture you saw in high school where it's like, oh, I see the old lady, but you see the young lady in the long dress, right?
Right.
So when you come in as a consultant, you're able to kind of step in and say, I see a different picture here. You're so used to seeing a picture of this, but maybe there's another vision.
So I don't necessarily really care a whole lot about where you've been. What I really want to know is where you're going and how can I help you get there bigger, faster, or stronger.
Sure. Awesome. Well, gosh, I think we've done a good job at your intro here. And it sounds like, at least from what I know of you and with what we're hearing and our listeners are hearing, you've got passion, you've got excitement, and you've got skills. So that's good. Those are a good combination and hopefully that next level training and development for you this year will grow 400% as well. Because I'm going to be asking you the same questions.
This time next year?
400%.
4,000%.
Okay, 4,000%. Okay, you're going to shoot for the stars.
Exactly.
So, well, this is probably a great time to take a quick break. I will remind you that you are listening to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar. I should remind you that I am a licensed loan officer in North Carolina. NMLS license number 117266, and Movement Mortgage is an equal housing lender. We'll have a little bit of Mortgage Matter segment toward the end. We'll see how far we go with you, Scott, here today. But again, you're listening to Reshair Radio. We've got Scott Babbidge here with Next Level Training and Development. We are going to be talking about taking control of the trajectory of your life. So great topics, all about theme, goal setting, and getting your 2017 off to the right start. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When choosing an insurance agency, you want a company you can trust. We are an independent insurance agency that can protect your personal assets, including your home, your business assets, as well as health and insurance needs. A true one-stop solution provider. We do not work for an insurance company. We work for you. As an independent insurance agency, our duty is to our clients' best interests. It is our responsibility to provide you the best service and the best coverage at the best possible price. You will have the added benefit of working with agents who understand your needs. After visiting our website, we will schedule an exploratory appointment to discuss your specific needs. Please visit our website at www.movementinsurance.com. That's www.movementinsurance.com.
Did you know it has been reported that an estimated 80% of Americans have credit inaccuracies on their credit reports? Most people that have either inaccuracies or existing items that can be negotiated or adjusted do not know what their best score could be until they have found a new home or buying a new car or applying for a credit card. Then it's too late and they have to accept a higher interest rate or lose the opportunity altogether. The time to work on improving your credit score is before you need it. Whether you have a 440, 640, or even a 740 FICO score, there is always room for improvement. The National Credit Care Team is comprised of individuals dedicated to helping the millions of consumers plagued by credit inaccuracies, errors, and fraud. It is our mission to help inform consumers and alleviate the stress of working with creditors and credit bureaus. Together, we can maximize your scores to get the best interest rates possible and save you money. Call now, 303-747-6390. That's 303-747-6390. Or visit us at www.nationalcreditcare.com.
Welcome back to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host here, Chris Reshatar, licensed loan officer with Movement Mortgage. And we've got a special guest and special treat here for you today. If you are just tuning in, we've got Scott Babbidge here from Next Level Training and Development. And Scott, you are a coach, trainer, analyst, you name it, all kinds of things. But really, at the end of the day, you are helping individuals and organizations to help them take their companies to the next level, take their personal lives to the next level, and you even work with some teams, and we'll be talking about that later. But really, for our listeners this morning, we just kind of did your intro, Scott, and background and all that you've sort of done to get to this point in your life and your career. But I wanted to bring you on because I know that we're rolling out the new year. It's 2017 now, folks, if you are just recovering from your, the New Year's Eve bash and still in a daze. But we're going to be talking about taking control of the trajectory of your life. And Scott and I spent some time prepping for the show, and really, we didn't want to just say, what are your goals? And, are you going to reach your goals or not? And do you have them written down? Scott really had more in mind. And really, this was your sort of idea in terms of taking control of the trajectory of your life for the new year. But we really want to talk about many components of your life. For our listeners, know that the show really is about making good financial decisions. But everybody knows that if you're not in a spot personally that's in a good spot, then you're probably not going to make the best financial decisions. Or if you're spiritually not in a good spot, all of these things roll back to making sound financial decisions. And that's why you're here today, Scott. So again, welcome back to Reshair Radio here. Let's jump in and say, you mentioned to me before we can sort of know where we're going, we kind of need to know where we're at today, right? Where
Correct.
we're at today. So, and maybe if we kind of go into that personally, how are you developing yourself? How do we take that to the next level? So let's talk about the components that we've laid out, which are the 5 areas of most people's lives that impact the way that we operate day to day and how we make decisions. The first one would be personally, how we're developing ourselves personally. So what are some of the components that our listeners need to understand in terms of where we're at now and where we're headed?
Sure. And thanks again for having me.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
having a blast, and this is great. So wherever we are today is a direct result of the actions that we've taken to this point in our lives. And one of the things I really try to get across to people is to understand that you are in control and you are the most powerful being in your universe. And that the thoughts that you have and the actions that you take absolutely result in the results that you get every single time. And so that if you are super happy with the results you're getting, keep doing those things, ramp them up. If you're not happy with the results you're getting, then let's take a look and figure out why that is, and let's make some changes because you control it. And so from a personal perspective, one of the things that I think is really important for all of us personally is to read.
Okay.
When we read, we learn. And some of my favorite books, and if your listeners have a pen and paper, hopefully they can jot some of these down because these are really good books that can really have impact. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. I think his TED Talk is the #2 most watched TED Talk in history. And it's a great book. If you don't understand your why, then it really is kind of hard to really pinpoint and get into your hows. So that's a great book.
And give us an example of what a why is for somebody, what that means.
So my why is that my purpose, right? My why is my purpose, right? My why is my purpose.
That's where I'm headed.
And so my purpose is to take all of these blessings that I've been given in my life, being a certified behavioral analyst, being John Maxwell certified trainer, all of the successes that I've had in my life. And it doesn't do me any good if I keep all of those to myself. And so for me, my purpose is to share.
Right.
And to share everything that I've been exposed to so that I can help other people achieve and overachieve their goals.
Yep.
Right.
And I'm going to jump in here, and I feel very much connected to what you're saying. And really, at the end of the day, I do mortgages for people. Mortgages aren't necessarily the most appealing thing for people to experience, okay? It's not fun. It's paperwork, blah, blah, blah. But my why in many cases is, obviously, it's helping people achieve the American dream, which is a great result. But as I do that and take care of my family and my personal life, I'm also able to give back and to serve and to be the best person I can be as a result of helping the people that I'm helping. And I feel like the Lord has said, forgive me for getting a little religious here, he says, you take care of people and I'll take care of you. And those are my whys, why I do what I do. And as a result, part of that education and giving back and helping people is open the door up to even having my own radio show and now helping greater people who listen to the show and gain knowledge and make better decisions, whether they use me at the end of the day for their loan or not, doesn't matter because I'm helping people.
Sure. The education that you provide
That's right.
And things that people don't understand, helping people fix their credit. All of those sorts of things is all giving back and helping people move from where they are to a better place. Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, it sounds like a great book.
Yeah,
so let's go to the next few that you recommend.
There's two by an author called John Acuff, Start and Quitter. Highly recommend. They're super easy, fast reads. One of my favorites, also the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Yep. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. And those two guys particularly, that which we think is what we become. And if we just change our thinking, we change our outcomes.
And if you don't change your behavior, you can't expect a different result.
No, exactly. Well, Albert Einstein,
right,
doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result
exactly.
is the definition of insanity. So we try to get people to tweak a little bit and pivot off that.
Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, you are listening to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshair. I'm a licensed loan officer with Movement Mortgage. But as we mentioned, the theme of the show really is to empower and excite Charlotte teens to make great or sound financial decisions. And we've got Scott Babbidge here in the studio from Next Level Training and Development. And we're really talking about taking control of the trajectory of your life. And one of the main components that we hit on, which is the first one, is really, you've got to look at where you're at now and where you're headed, but you've got to look at your personal, how you're developing yourself personally. So that's the component that we've just sort of kind of wrapped around. Anything else under really developing yourself personally that you want to hit on before we roll to the next one?
No, because we'll build on that in a moment. When we start talking about professional development, we'll build on that.
All right, so let's talk about physically. This is, you can't turn on the TV now where every other commercial is about exercise equipment or weight loss, but, really taking care of your body. I mean, what are your thoughts under this component?
Sure. And you don't have to be perfect. Right? That's the first thing. And as long as you're making progress, and that can be, hey, if you're doing nothing today and you're a couch potato, go take a half-hour walk every day. Just move. Get your body moving. And that can do great things for your mind. A body that's in movement keeps a mind in movement. And if your mind is sharp, then lots of other opportunities will become available to you just by focusing on that. Again, like I said, you don't have to go spend $1,000 a month on a gym membership and throw weights around and grunt and groan and all that kind of stuff. That's fine if you do that, but do something.
Sure. And it's hard to be your best you if you're not in shape and you're struggling with physical issues that may be a result of maybe not exercising, maybe overeating, whatever it might be. So,
and even if that walk that you can take today is 5 minutes and tomorrow it's 7, that's progress.
That's right. All right, cool. So we know that's part of taking the control and trajectory of your life is kind of getting yourself physically, moving in the right direction. So let's talk about spiritually. What do you want to share about being spiritually in tune?
Yeah. Last year I've kind of got an interesting personal story to share. Last year, as I was going through and completing my John Maxwell certification, I personally really reconnected with my faith, which led me to really opening and becoming more open. And when I say that, what I mean is just, for me, that means being open to the concept that there is a power in the universe that's greater than me, and that, for me, that's God, and that the plan that greater power has is infinitely bigger than anything I can have for myself. And so I was going through, 2015 and into 2016, and these things started happening in my life. John Maxwell. And then I took over the charity golf tournament for an organization called Business Leaders of Charlotte. And I met these people from Turning Point organization, nonprofit down in Monroe. And we raised more money than we ever raised in the golf tournament, gave a bigger charitable donation than we ever have to a great organization called Mitchell's Fund.
Yep.
As we've talked about before.
As we've talked about, yep.
Yeah. And then a month after the golf tournament was over, the folks from Turning Point asked me to be on their board of directors. And I started thinking that, wait a minute, these dots are all connected and that there are no coincidences. Those ladies didn't come to the January after hours of Business Leaders of Charlotte just by chance. And they didn't run into me just by chance. That all of these things line. And if we open ourselves to seeing how the dots connect, it gets really powerful, really powerful.
Well, and I feel like, religion set aside, we all have some fine tuning to our spirit that affects how we feel and behave and act each and every day. and there may be some issues that people are struggling with that are sort of dragging them down. And those are the kinds of things that you have to pay attention. You've got that conscience, you've got, whether you call it the spirit, whatever it might be, you've got to start listening to that. If you want to be the best you that you can be, you got to listen to those little messagings that says, I really need to take control of my life and stop renting and or get out of my debt or treat my mother with more kindness or whatever it might be. There's an element to everybody that we really have to pay attention to that spirit if we're going to be the best person that we're going to be as we roll out and really be on the right trajectory as we mentioned.
And personally, for me, I have found that the more that I give of my time and of my money and of my effort, that the more it comes back.
It's called giver's gain.
It's called giver's gain, as
That's
we know
right.
from our BNI time. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. But it's true, and that if you're not doing anything to make the community better, just go volunteer. Go volunteer 2 or 3 hours once a month at a nonprofit that kind of aligns with something that you care about.
Absolutely. And I have found too that when you're not in a good spot spiritually, it really ties to what you're saying here, and that is when you serve others, you forget about your own problems.
Sure.
And you always find that there's somebody else out there that's struggling more than you are, and you quickly are reminded that things are better than you thought.
Yeah, well, right. So to really make that crystal clear is we served Christmas dinner to the clients at Turning Point. And, one of the things you think is, gosh, I really should be more thankful for what I have.
Sure.
And also, I should be pretty thankful for the bad stuff I don't have to deal with.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. So, all right, well, we're out of time for this segment. We've got to hit professional component and financial components yet. But we've got so much more to talk about. Again, please stay tuned. You're on here with Reshair Radio. My name is Chris Reshatar, your show host. And again, we've got Scott Babbidge here from Next Level Training and Development. We're talking about taking control of the trajectory of your life. We've got more to talk about, so please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Sports fans know that the key to winning the big game is going in prepared. Right now, houses are selling fast. So if you're in the market for a new home purchase, don't just be prepared, be Movement Mortgage prepared. Charlotte's leading mortgage lender, Chris Reshatar at Movement Mortgage will tee you up with a free, fully underwritten upfront pre-approval. Call Chris today at 704-277-4463. Go into the game prepared with Chris Reshatar of Movement Mortgage.
Welcome back to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar, licensed loan officer with Movement Mortgage. Movement Mortgage is one of Charlotte's top lenders here, and I'm a loan officer there. And we're here every week. We're talking about different aspects of your financial life and how to sort of take control and make great decisions. And if you're really just tuning in, we're talking with Scott Babbidge here from Next Level Training and Development. And our theme for our show today is taking control of the trajectory of your life. What a great sort of theme to roll out the new year, Scott, and glad to have you here on the show. And we've been talking about areas of your life like personally, physically, spiritually, areas that if we're going to be really figuring out where to set that trajectory for the new year, we've got to be looking at all those elements of our lives and making sure that we're focusing on making those areas better. You have to know where we're at and then how to make them better. So we've sort of hit the first three. What I really want to kind of jump into now is professionally. If you are retired or you're lucky enough to maybe just be in school full time and you don't have a profession just yet, then consider yourself blessed. For those of us that are out doing the daily grind, there's a lot that we have to deal with each and every day. No matter what profession you're in, work consumes the majority of our time away from home. And what are some of the areas that you want to talk about in terms of, professionally, in terms of what you want to share with our guests here?
Yeah. So first and foremost, you are the most valuable asset that you own.
Very good.
Right? And so we should feel great about ourselves. We are the most valuable asset in our life.
And debt-free.
And right, absolutely, yes, absolutely. And we need to get debt-free. But really, people spend lots of money on cars, making investments in their homes, in their retirement accounts, but really too few people actually make investments in themselves. And so the first question is, if you are the most important and valuable asset in your life, are you investing in yourself?
Well, that's a really good question, because I think at the end of the day, in some ways, when you invest in yourself, it almost looks self-interested. right?
Sure.
Like, I don't want to spend that money on me or that time or that energy. It's taking away from other areas of my life. And because it's a big juggling act, right?
Sure.
So what you're really saying is that investment in yourself is going to allow you, our listener, to be your best self and to probably have a better career trajectory and lead to new opportunities because you're strengthening you.
Correct. Be a better person, a better father, a better husband, better wife, better boyfriend, girlfriend.
Better breadwinner in your career.
Exactly. All of those things. And so, from a professional perspective, it really is wise for people to spend some time and money investing in themselves to grow. And it reminds me of my favorite John Maxwell leadership law, which is law number 1, which is the law of the lid. And the law of the lid says that regardless of what aspect of your life we're thinking about, your leadership level, whether it's in your family, in your business, in your career, your leadership level is the lid. And so if on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're a 4, your organization, your career, your family will never be more than a 3. And that if you raise your lid by investing in yourself from a 4 to a 7, you will pull all of those other areas of your life from a 3 to a 6. And that none of those family unit, company, team, none of those things will ever exceed your leadership ability.
Interesting. Well, and it's not surprising, right? Because at the end of the day, if your skill sets are only at a certain level, how do you expect your teams to be better than yours?
That's exactly right. That's exactly it. So why not invest in growing yourself so that you can grow everything that you touch?
Right, whether that's your family, your work team, or whatever it might be.
Exactly.
Even people that you serve in the community and church, et cetera.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So anything else that you want to share under sort of kind of getting our professional life on the right trajectory? I think really at the end of the day, the point is you need to look at whatever it is you're doing, where your career is headed, and if there's something that you need to strengthen your skill set in, get it done. Take a class, get yourself in line, get some coaching
Call
with
me.
you. Yeah, get some coaching with you, Scott.
Right,
so
exactly.
Maybe that's where I need to start. But anyway, so I think we've kind of hit that briefly. Let me just mention that if you're just tuning in, we're listening to Scott Babbidge here from Next Level Training and Development. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar with Reshair Radio. And just in case you have heard something that is of interest to you and you want to take advantage of getting some coaching with Scott and really taking yourself personally, physically, spiritually, professionally, taking control of your life and the trajectory and where you're headed, you need Scott's talents, and that is, then you give me a call or shoot me a text message, and all you need to do is say, I need Scott. Text me at 704-277-4463. That's 704-277-4463, and all it needs to say is, I need Scott. And he has some great things as we continue through the show. He will tell you about how he can help you in many, many areas of your life as a personal coach. So, Scott, I think it's probably time to roll to the last component, which sort of ties back to really the goal of our show, and that is financially. If your life personally is not on track, it's going to be hard to be financially on track. In any of the areas of what I call spokes of the wheel, if you're missing a spoke on one side, your wheel's going to be pretty clunky and bumpy, right? So financially, are you financially fit, really? So let's kind of talk about that and what your thoughts are.
And quite honestly, I would say that if you're not financially fit, you're going to have a real hard time being personally fit.
You're right.
I mean, it really, really, truly. And so, and at least in my opinion, the first step in that is being debt-free and not
living within your means.
And living within your, absolutely. Living a little below your means maybe so that you can save more and give more and save money for that first house.
Yeah.
Right? Or save money for that move up. And, there's a guy, you're probably familiar with him. His name is Dave Ramsey. He's pretty popular. Got like the 3rd most popular radio show in the world. And, one of the things that he says that really resonates with me is live like no one else today so that you can live and give like no one else tomorrow.
Yep.
That drives me.
That's the why. As you go back to what we were talking about earlier, under developing yourself personally and reading the book by Simon Sinek or whatever. So you're right. And I think at the end of the day, this is one of those areas of our lives where we can talk about our career, we can talk about, how much weight we've lost since the new year and so forth. But financial is one of those areas that we don't share with people. We don't talk with people at work about. We don't grab lunch and say, hey, so, what's your budget looking like this month? So it's an area that we kind of keep kind of secret. Right. We even talk about how things went at church on Sunday and maybe where we're at spiritually and how we're giving back and serving. But it's an area where a lot of Americans we don't have those conversations, which can be why it's really important to be working with someone like you, Scott, to maybe get their lives in order, or even me.
And someone like you, Chris.
Absolutely.
Right? So because it is so vitally important for anybody going through the mortgage process. Because that's a big decision and it's a big deal. And for them to have a trusted advisor like you in their life will make and pay dividends many times over for them, not only in that particular transaction, but in other aspects of their life. And so personal recommendation is if you're not using Chris Reshair for your mortgage, you need to use Chris Reshair for your mortgage.
Well, I really where I want to spin that maybe a little, Scott, is that the clients that actually call me in advance that maybe aren't where they need to be financially and say, want to buy a home this year, but I'm not really sure what I need to do. Those clients may take 6 months or 12 months. We may have to shoot them over to Adam Kunda from National Credit Care, who's one of our show sponsors, to get things cleaned up there. There may be things that we need to do. Then we line them up with a realtor that's going to take good care of them when they're actually ready and approved. And those are it's so fun to get those clients, but unfortunately a lot of Americans do it the backwards way, right? We see the good-looking house on the internet and we quickly try to make an appointment with the realtor. The realtor says, well, I can take you out on Saturday morning, which is tomorrow morning, whatever day that of the week it is, right? But you got to talk to a mortgage person. I know it's 8 p.m. on a Friday. Why don't you call Chris? And we don't have time to prepare. And then maybe I pull the credit and they're not financially set and their hopes just got dashed because now they can't get that house that they were so impatient to go see the next morning, when in reality, they should have been talking to the mortgage person first, right? Talking to me or my team. So that's one of those things that if our listener can gather from our conversation today, financially, if things you're not financially fit and you want to buy a home this coming year, have that conversation with me now. Let's put you on what I call a path to home ownership.
Yeah, invest in yourself financially. Get yourself in the right position.
All right, so I think we've sort of hit the main components of kind of being prepared where we're at now. Let's talk a little bit about some of the skills and steps that you use to sort of take people from where they're at to where they want to go. And I think kind of what matters most here, as you had mentioned before, is we have to be intentional about what we're doing if we want to get a different result, right? If we expect a different result, we've got to change our behavior. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over. So where does that kind of lead us? What's the first strategy, if you will, that you want to share with our listeners here this morning?
So in working with me, the very first thing that we do with any client is we do a personality assessment. And we have a coaching session around that. And that allows us to really dial into the strengths that the individual has, make sure that we're focused on leveraging our strengths, not trying to build bridges around weaknesses. I don't deal with that stuff, right? I just talk about strengths.
Let's take what you're really good at
and let's go do that all the time. Absolutely. And so, and then once we get through that first process and have a really good deep dive into that, then I have conversation and we start thinking about with our clients, are you a 1%er or are you a 99%er? Right. And that if you're not in the 1%, it's okay, because the only thing that's different between the 1% and the 99% is that the 1% think and act differently. And if we change the way we think and change the way we act, we can change the results. And back to the theme of our show today, we can change the trajectory of our life. And
I use an analogy. A racehorse only has to win by a nose, but the prize winnings are 3 times greater.
Absolutely.
Right? So getting to that 1%, sometimes it's just being a little bit better.
Sure. And not even necessarily about being a 1%er tomorrow, but moving that way.
Absolutely.
And let's start that process today, and let's get there tomorrow.
Absolutely. So, Well, awesome. This is great stuff. I know we've got one more segment to wrap up everything that we've been talking about. So many nuggets in our show today. This is really good stuff. And I hope our listeners are appreciating some of the value adds that Scott is bringing to our show today. So again, stay tuned. I am your host, Chris Reshatar with Reshair Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know it has been reported that an estimated 80% of Americans have credit inaccuracies on their credit reports? Most people that have either inaccuracies or existing items that can be negotiated or adjusted do not know what their best score could be until they have found a new home or buying a new car or applying for a credit card. Then it's too late and they have to accept a higher interest rate or lose the opportunity altogether. The time to work on improving your credit score is before you need it. Whether you have a 440, 640, or even a 740 FICO score, there is always room for improvement. The National Credit Care Team is comprised of individuals dedicated to helping the millions of consumers plagued by credit inaccuracies, errors, and fraud. It is our mission to help inform consumers and alleviate the stress of working with creditors and credit bureaus. Together, we can maximize your scores to get the best interest rates possible and save you money. Call now, 303-747-6390. That's 303-747-6390. Or visit us at www.nationalcreditcare.com.
When choosing an insurance agency, you want a company you can trust. We are an independent insurance agency that can protect your personal assets, including your home, your business assets, as well as health and insurance needs. A true one-stop solution provider. We do not work for an insurance company. We work for you. As an independent insurance agency, our duty is to our clients' best interests. It is our responsibility to provide you the best service and the best coverage at the best possible price. You will have the added benefit of working with agents who understand your needs. After visiting our website, we will schedule an exploratory appointment to discuss your specific needs. Please visit our website at www.movementinsurance.com. That's www.movementinsurance.com.
Welcome back to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar, licensed loan officer with Movement Mortgage. And if you've not been listening to our show, we've got Scott Babbidge here, coach and professional development analyst from Next Level Training and Development. And we have been talking about sort of getting your life on the right trajectory, Scott, right?
Yes.
And there's been so many cool things that we've been hitting on. And we really kind of hit the spokes of the wheel in terms of where are you at, how was your last year, personally, professionally, physically, mentally, all those different things, even financially, and really kind of analyzing where you're at in those different components. But really, Scott, with your coaching and the way that you operate and help people, really wanted to go into some of the things that some of the strategies that you use to help people to be better. And you mentioned a concept which was really the 1% versus the 99. Typically, as you had mentioned before, that those 1%ers are the people that are really getting it done. And we're trying to figure out how do we help you, our listener, go from being in the 99% to stand out as a 1%er. But what does that really look like in people that you've worked with and so forth?
So a couple of key things, right? The 1%ers develop the person. The 99%ers develop the task or the business. Right. And so what that means is the 1%ers understand the Maxwell law of the lid and they invest in themselves. 99%ers, when I speak with them and when I listen to them, they say, I can't afford to spend money on that. And I say, are you spending or are you investing?
Sure.
Right. So that's a difference between the 1 and the 99. The 1 invest, and they invest in things that deliver return on that investment. And the 99 worry about spending. And also the 1% focus on potential, where the 99% focus on performance, right? And we know performance is a lagging indicator, meaning that it's happened in the past. And if we know, based on what we've learned from Napoleon Hill and Wallace Wattles and others, that what we think into is what we become, if we're thinking about performance, which is in the past, we keep repeating that same performance. That's what the 99% does. 1%ers have that big, ridiculous, crazy goal that's way out there. And everything they do and every action they take and every thought they make is walking and moving toward that big, crazy goal. And ultimately they get there because whatever it is that we think into is what we become.
Okay, so wow, I couldn't say that better, Scott. I feel like I need to go back and listen to that again because there's just so much there. But really, your role is to
helping people
sit with individuals or companies or small teams or groups, and helping to get them there,
develop the
to
mindset,
see that vision,
and develop the actions that get them moving toward that 1% philosophy and toward that 1% mindset.
Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about any other components that you want to share before we roll into, the coaching component.
No, let's go to coaching.
Let's go to coaching. All right, cool. So if you're just tuning in, again, you're listening to Reshair Radio, and I've got Scott Babbidge here with Next Level Training and Development. If there's anything that you have heard today that is intriguing to you and you feel like you need to take advantage of Scott's services, all you need to do is shoot me a quick text message and say, I need Scott. It's that simple. I need Scott. All you have to do is text me at 704-277-4463. That's 704-277-4463. He can get you your life on the right trajectory, whether you're an individual who needs a little bit of coaching, or if you've got a small team in a small business or even a corporate team. This is what Scott does. As you can tell, he is a wide knowledge, wealth of knowledge in this area. So let's talk about coaching because, at the end of the day, not a lot of our listeners know, but I was a Division I gymnast years ago. I am officially retired and have been for a long time, but I would have never been as good as I was without a good coach. And I don't know that people, our everyday people, understand the value of coaching and what it really looks like. So I'd love for you just to spend a few minutes on what it is, because we think of, my daughter who's in soccer has a coach. Well, is your daughter going to be better because she has a coach? Absolutely. Right. So there's a lot of people driving around or listening this morning that need a coach in their life, but may not realize that they do. And if they are listening, hopefully they go, maybe I need to give it a try.
Yeah. And so one of the real things is to really define what the role of a professional coach is. And what I do isn't like what Coach Rivera or Coach Clifford does, right?
Right.
Or what a sports coach does, because the sports coach is the expert and they set the game plan and they tell the players what to do. Professional coaching in my world is based on the concept that all of the answers are within you, the client. And it's my role as the coach to help encourage and support and facilitate you uncovering all of the greatness that's within you so that you own it. Because we know what happens when people own, right? Let's take homes, for example. People care more about things they own than things they rent. I mean, it's just right. And so if I'm your coach and I'm telling you what to do, then you can always say, if you didn't do it, that it's my fault because it didn't work. But in the world that I work in and the different kind of coaching, real, true professional coaching that I do, it's all about the client and helping the client get inside, find the answers that they already have, and own those answers and make those answers turn into life-transforming kinds of things.
Cool.
So really
well, I get that. And I think a professional coach too, outside of extrapolating out what they really deep down know they need to be doing, you provide some boundaries and a little bit of accountability and steps for them to follow that they might not see.
Totally.
So that is, I think, another element of coaching. I've worked with coaches that help me on a management level. I've worked with coaches that help me on a personal and professional level, as well as being an athlete. And I understand that a lot of times I am going to get more done and reach those goals because I've got somebody talking to me once a week or every other week kind of saying, let's check in. Mm-hmm. How did you do on following up what you said you wanted to do? And it's like, oh, man.
And that's exactly it. What you said, how did you do on what you said you wanted to do?
Right. And
totally.
In every case, I have performed better because I had an accountability partner or coach that sort of held me accountable to what I said I wanted to do and was able to accomplish some of the goals, including making Reshair Radio a success. I actually had a business coach in the mortgage industry that helped me last year. And I said to him, I said, I've got this radio show. I'm trying to figure it out. This is new to me. I'm used to taking loan applications 4 or 5 a day, and this is, I'm doing the grind every day, helping people buy homes. But I'm not used to running a radio show. So how do but I want to make it successful. I want to bring valuable material. I want to bring in expert contributors. He had a radio show, my coach did. And he said, you know what? I know what you want to do. Let's lay out some goals. And every other week we would sit on the phone for an hour, and there was always an element of where are we at with Reshair Radio? How is it going? And now I've got 6 sponsors on the show. We're on every week, and it's been a great 2016, and hoping 2017 will be as well.
And the reality is none of us are experts in everything. And as a result, having somebody that is with us and walking with us in our life that helps us can be very powerful, because not all of us, very few people have the self-discipline within themselves to absolutely execute on all of these things all of the time. And that's why I'm here.
Absolutely.
Help.
Well, I have to give kudos to my coach, Tim Davis, there over at Movement Mortgage.
Way to go, Tim.
So, all right. So, we only have 3 or 4 minutes left of our show. What I really want to make sure before we wrap up the show today is really kind of give our listeners what is a good fit for any individuals or companies that may need your services at Next Level Training and Development. You're not a sponsor on the show at this point, maybe someday, but the point is you're here bringing valuable material and helping people sort of get their life on the right trajectory, and that affects their finances. That's why you're here. I think you're a valuable asset as a guest here on Reshair Radio today. So let's kind of start with a company perspective. Who do you work with from a company perspective, and how can you help companies?
Right. So the tagline for Next Level Training and Development is improve hiring, increase productivity, decrease turnover. And so I work with HR directors, recruiting managers, CEOs, CFOs, if they have a turnover issue or if they're having a hard time hiring for a certain position. I leverage the behavioral analysis stuff. And what that allows us to do is really pinpoint what a role looks like, and it allows us to really pinpoint what the human looks like, and to make sure that we're aligning strengths and needs. And when we do that with the program that I use and the resources that I have, we have an over 95% success rate in improving hiring and decreasing turnover.
Right.
Right.
Awesome stuff.
And turnover is really expensive to any company.
Absolutely.
Really
One
expensive.
of the biggest expenses there is.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about the individuals. What kinds of things do you do there?
Oh, and just real quick back on companies. I also do leadership development. And so if we want our line people to be the best line people, we should arm them with the best leaders that they report to and work with. And so doing leadership development is something that I love to do, and it's kind of a sweet spot for me.
It's really kind of how you got
It really is how I got into this. Exactly.
How you got into
absolutely.
This. So that makes a lot of sense.
Right. So individuals. So either personal, professional, one-to-one coaching. So I do one-to-one coaching. And I also do group programs. One of my group programs is called Dynamic Leadership Catalyst Program. These are exclusive groups limited to 6 to 10 people only. They are full-on participatory. We share and we learn and we grow together. And the power that happens within those group programs is just, it's incredible. And then I also do programs with high school and college students, and that program is called the Power of Youth 101. And it's fun and great. We start with a personality assessment and a 90-minute coaching session with your teenager. And then we meet, do a deep dive. At the end of that session, your young adult will feel better about themselves than they ever have.
Kind of give a trajectory on what they want to do with their
absolutely
career, with their personality in check. Right?
Let's send our kids to college knowing what they're going to be great at before they go to college.
Awesome.
Right? And then we look at, then there's a 6-week program that I do with the kids, and we work on character development, self-image, leadership, financial literacy, and of course, how to think and act like the 1%.
Awesome. So, we're just about out of time, but Scott, you've got a special offer for our listeners today. So why don't you tell our listeners about your offer here?
Sure. For any of Chris's listeners, I will offer my preliminary consultation, which includes a full personality development assessment and a 90-minute coaching session. The regular price on that is $249, but because you're a listener of Reshair Radio, I will offer that for $149.
And I'm going to say invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself.
That's right. So, well, gosh, this has been a great session. We'll probably have you back again, Scott, here in the future. We're just about out of time. So thank you for listening, Scott. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And hopefully you've enjoyed Reshair Radio. We'll be back again next week at 10 o'clock. Thank you very much and have a great week. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Chris.
You've been listening to Reshair with Chris Reshatar, a seasoned licensed mortgage consultant with Movement Mortgage, equal housing lender. Originator license number 117266. Learn more online at themortgagegenius.com. Sports fans know that the key to winning the big game is going in prepared. Right now, houses are selling fast. So if you're in the market for a new home purchase, don't just be prepared, be Movement Mortgage prepared. Charlotte's leading mortgage lender, Chris Reshatar at Movement Mortgage will tee you up with a free, fully underwritten, upfront pre-approval. Shop for the home of your dreams, already backed by an upfront pre-approval at Movement Mortgage. Call Chris today at 704-277-4463 or find Chris at www.themortgagegenius.com. Go into the game prepared with Chris Reshatar of Movement Mortgage.